Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins, broadcasting from Merritt, British Columbia to the entire Commonwealth. Good morning, everybody. From here, local time is 8:54 a.m. It is Monday, October 7th. We are in the 41st week of 2019. The year's coming to an end. We are in the last quarter, and markets are getting tricky. It's getting kind of tricky. That Run DMC song, SD to rock around, to rock our time is tricky. It is getting kind of tricky out there. So welcome to Can't Read Market Talk. All right, guys. So let's go into a quick channel plug here. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you want to support the transmission in the very basic manner, go ahead and check out some of the older videos and share something. Who cares? Share anything. Who cares? Get it out there. Go against the status quo. Don't forget to hit me up in PayPal. I want to thank a gentleman down under who actually sent me a tip the other day. Thank you very much. And don't forget to support me on Patreon. I'm at 16 supporters. Hopefully I could get to 20 by Christmas. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, go ahead. I am on Instagram. All right, it's Mike Martins Official. So we got the big story of the day. Let me go back. Sorry, real quick here. I got some other stories here. I got to open to some pretty big ones, actually. Was this guy here. So we got a few of them I want to open this morning. Some pretty big stories. We have the Australian recession no one talks about. We got General Electric freezing what is this? Advisor sentenced. So like I said, guys, and we got markets in Canada and America. Markets in the US kind of not going anywhere this morning, so let's take a look at where it's at. Market's got a couple of hours left on the markets. We got actually quite a few hours left on the market floor there right now, as trading is basically trading right now on Wall Street and on Bay Street if you're in Canada. Let's go over this one here. This is very important. General Electric to freeze pensions for about 20,000 employees as stock surges. So now, what the heck is going to happen here? When they freeze pensions for 20,000 people, how are those 20,000 people going to eat? We're getting into those times, people, where you're going to start to see the corporations please their investors and put their minds at ease that everything is okay, because we're going to go after the people that worked for the company and built the infrastructure and put it all together. We're going to go after them. You don't worry, investors. You relax. You know what I'm saying? So, let me just take a Zippo of water here, wet my beak here for a second. GE to freeze pensions for about 20,000 employees. Stock surges. Shares in General Electric, GE plus 0 points. So it's right now. So stock is on the NYSE is trading at about 8.57 right now. It did see an increase from market open. Surged 2.6% in pre-market trading Monday after the industrial conglomerate said it was freezing the U.S. pension plan for about 20,000 employees with salaried benefits and supplementary pension benefits for 700 employees. GE said there would be changes for retirees after collecting a pension benefits. The pension plan has been closed to new entrants since 2012. So there's no pensions. If you started working in 2012 for General Electric, you don't got a pension. Woo! The company said it would offer a limited time lump sum payment option for about 100,000 former employees who have not yet started their monthly pension plan payments. GE said it is pre-funding approximately $4 billion to $5 billion in minimum ERISA, Employee Retirement Income Security Act, funding requirements for 2021 and 2022. GE said the pension moves was the part of its plan plan that is expected to reduce its pension deficit by $5 billion to $8 billion, and the next debt by $4 billion to $6 billion. GE stock has tumbled 32.4% over the past 12 months. I've been keeping my finger on the pulse there, kind of watching where things are headed with GE, and it hasn't been looking good at all. While the Dow Jones Industrial Average DJIA is up 0.08%, has gained 0.5%. But in the last few days and pre-market open, you're seeing a surge. But this is very bad news for them on the home front and retirees. People jumping into these jobs, getting promised a pension, and I believe, it's a good thing to have a pension so you don't have to depend on the federal government or all your savings. Back in the day, people used to actually save money for retirement, or people used to save for a rainy day. Today, you could just squash that under your fist. Now, let's move over down under where former NAB financial advisor sentenced. So, banks are now starting to, I guess, put people behind bars, but are they getting the right people though? Right? Who's allowing these little guys or the smaller guys to get away with what they're doing? Whose palm is being greased up top? That is the question, people. All right, former NAB financial advisor sentenced. Former National Australian Bank financial advisor Max Ewing has been sentenced to 3 years for intensive correction order by New South Wales District Court for taking $166,000 from its clients. And these are people that need to pay bills. These are people that need to this is like working poor people too. That's the sad part. Because the majority of Australians who are in the middle class are really in a working poor situation. You know what I'm saying? Ewing was convicted and sentenced on Friday after pleading guilty to dishonesty, obtaining financial advantage, and creating false bank accounts in the names of his clients. Wow. And you're telling me there's not a single auditor that's been auditing these banks or auditing these specific branches that goes in, like a district manager that comes in, pulls a few files, and doesn't catch something like this? You gotta be kidding me. The crimes were committed in 2016, the case followed by a referral by the Australian Securities and Investment Commission. And I like how a lot of these people apologize for getting caught. They don't apologize for what they did and sincere and humbleness and all that stuff, right? They just go in a back room in their little shop or in their home and start throwing things around and yelling and getting mad because they get caught, right? The crimes were committed in 2016. Okay, we saw that. Ewing was banned from providing financial advice. Oh, wow. In the middle of last year, a decision which was welcomed by NAB General Manager of Financial Planning, Tim Steele. We sacked Mr. Ewing on 20th of December 2016 after a routine security process identified serious compliance concerns. We reported the event to the New South Wales Police, notified the ASIC, and fully cooperated with their investigation, Mr. Steele said at the time. The ASIC Commissioner, Sean Hudges, said Ewing breached his clients' trust by using their confidential information to create false accounts, as well by accessing his clients' funds to use for his own benefit. Wow. Among the misconduct identified in the financial planning industry was the fees for no service scandal. Well, we know the Royal Commission uncovered this. This is a big deal. Poorly managed conflicts of interest and inadequate record keeping. It's a bank. How can you inadequately keep records when everything's all digitized? Everything's got a fingerprint on it. Come on, man. Living the dream in the house. Silver Brand in the house. Welcome, guys, to Can't Read Market Talk. Some big stories here we're covering. NAB is yet to complete its divestment of its wealth management arm, MLC, which it hopes will stem damage to its reputation bottom line from poor advisory services. The bank's compensation bill for advisory customers who lost money because of the advice of planners stands more than $2 billion. So all these Mickey Mouse planners are looking at their as very bad financial decisions were given to people, and these people, hand to God, these people should never have been hired. But a lot of banks wanted to look good and get this multicultural thing happening, which is fine. But when someone doesn't qualify, or you're only hiring them to hire them for the fact that it makes the bank look more diverse, that's not going to work. That will never fly. Let's move on. The Australian recession nobody talks about. Earlier this week, I posted an article showing, among other things, the Australian households have experienced a 7-year recession in per capita household disposable income. And this is what I've been talking about for the longest time. There's not enough disposable income. People are borrowing off equity or borrowing off their signature in unsecured loans to borrow money. So Walkabout Prospect, he said, Mike, I have to live here with those vampires. I'm really sorry to hear that. Friends watching Living Down Under here. Living the Dream says, thanks, Mike, for the interesting information and analysis every time. You got it, living the dream, buddy. So this is the real household growth per capita. It's not working out, guys. And this is what I've been saying. People are borrowing to eat. And like I said, Australia is so bad off that they need to go to -9 or -7 to -9 interest rates for them to actually balance their books. I did a video of the top countries that are worst off the most, and Australia is the worst off of them all, followed by New Zealand, then the UK, and then it was Canada, and then US is in better situation per household family than anywhere else per capita. All right, let's look at the markets, guys, here in North America. The S&P TSX is sitting at 16,463, up 4.08%. The S&P 500 is at 2,954.45, up 2.44 points. The Dow Jones is up 15.92 points, sitting at 26,589.64. The Canada and U.S. dollar took a bounce back from last week's drop of about a quarter cent. It's back up over the 75-cent mark. Crude oil is up almost $1 today, sitting at $53.78 per barrel. And Bitcoin to Canadian dollar, we'll go to the American in a second, guys. No one panic, is at $10,943, so it's still around this $8,400 mark, in my opinion. Gold is down $7.20 per spot ounce at $1,505 per troy ounce, Russell 2000 sitting at 1,501, up 0.68%. And then you got the 10-year bond at 1,005. The 10-year bond at 1.54, up 0.2%, 0.2 points on the day, making that 1.72% on the day so far. Nasdaq is up 7,997, up 14.59 points, 0.18%. Volatility is creeping. It's kind of picked up when the market's open, and now it's ticked down so far. It's up 17 points at 17.21. And over in the overseas markets in the UK, the FTSE's up 42.50, still trending somewhat plateauing and taking up losses and gaining back losses from the Brexit news or the Brexit challenge. It's at 7,197.88. General Electric, again, all over the news today with its slashing pension scheme. Not a good move, guys. And then let's look at Bloomberg Markets. U.S. Stock Exchange higher as trade meeting looms. Market wraps. Oil moves higher as market eyes trade talks later this week. Market correction may be about half over. JP estimates, maybe half over. Woo! So that means you're going to see another huge increase in gold and silver. If it's half over, look how much gold went up in the last 3 months. Woo! But no, it's not half over. We're just getting started, guys, because you ain't seen nothing yet. And when this $2 trillion market turns, start worrying about Brexit. Severe brand thinking about stacking silver, good idea. Yes, stack silver. Just buy troy ounces. Go to your bullion dealer. I'm not allowed to give financial advice, but you never lose when stacking precious metals. Go buy maybe 10 ounces of silver bars, or 1 10-ounce bar, or 10 1 ounces of up to 10 ounces to get started. Maybe 5-ounce bar to get started. It's still within reach right now. And in my opinion, I think we have a bit we still have a lot of ceiling to go with gold and silver. Oh, just bought 24 ounces. Good for you. You're not going to lose. I mean, I have silver I bought at dips at $16 Canadian an ounce. $17, $22 Canadian, up and down all over the place. So, yeah. I don't know where I'm at with, so it's been so long since I bought it, so it's there to be there, right? Bitcoin sitting at 81.7750, taking a bit of an uptick this morning, a little bit of an uptick of 155.56 on the last 24-hour change, guys. Cryptocurrencies all in the green except one, and that's Dash. Dash is down. Dash is down, but it looks like it is moving around. What do we got going on? Who do we got on the phone here that we could... who do we got going on here? All right, so let's move on. And silver right now is down 1 cent, sitting at $17.50. So the ask for it is $17.61. So silver is, according to this, right now as we are speaking, it is upticking. It is upticking and it's pushing up. It's pushing down because of the strength or the semi strength in the US dollar right now with their daily sorry, I got caught off guard here. More women in the mining companies can boost investors' gains. Here's how. What an Elizabeth Warren win would mean for gold prices in the stock market. I can tell you without watching that. If she actually starts taking apart these big companies, these big .coms, these big corporations, the too big to fail corporations, and they start ripping it apart, you're going to start to see gold and silver rally. Not only that, you're also going to see her talking about movements in the Federal Reserve and actually starting to pay down debts. So you might see good happen but the thing is, it's you just can't believe anybody anymore. That's the problem. I mean, everyone has a soul. Everyone has a choice to either be honest or lie, and a lot of people want to be liars, right? Okay, so what is going on? Let's see if the Raven's at work, or what the heck is up with the Raven. We haven't talked with him for a while. Miss X wants to... No. Work all night. I'm at work all night Saturday. Okay, let's see if he's awake right now. Woo! 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 26 Gunther, we need you on the show. Everybody. Server band, we need you. Server band, we need you on the show. You just bought silver. Guys, add me on Skype, Mike Martins 1980. I need you guys to contact me on the show. Let me know what you're doing, where you're hedging, where you're looking at. It's kind of a good idea to kind of get a feel what you guys are, 26 Gunther, of course. Anybody, guys, anyone that comments in the comment section needs to come on the show at least once. If you want to come, you're more than welcome to oppose anything I'm saying. You're more than welcome to collaborate with anybody else. Currently live in Sydney. Yeah, no problem. Oh, Sydney, Nova Scotia. Yeah. You know, there's Sydney, Nova Scotia, and there's a Sydney in BC, in Victoria, in Vancouver Island. So, engineer Ethiopian Airlines went into records after crash. Green drink turning seniors into young bucks. Oh, they've been saying this for years. Boost for Johnson as court rules for his favor Brexit update. Sign up to our Brexit bulletin. So we got Brexit talk right now going on, guys. Oh, Sydney, BC. I thought it was Sydney, Nova Scotia. Sorry. Trump blames loyalist Rick Perry in shifting explanation of Ukraine call. Boston Fed President Eric Rosengreen speaks with Yahoo Finance. Israel signal rates may go below zero with easing back on table. Oh my God. S&P TSX composite edges higher as oil prices move up. Canada's main stock index edged higher in late morning trading, helping to gain energy sector as the price of oil pushed higher the S&P composite index. So it is doing well right now because they are actually looking at the Canadian markets are doing well because they are actually energy sector is going up right now. Small business increasingly a target for cyber criminals. Sorry, I'm just my right eye is blurry right now. I don't know why, but it's getting a bit of water in it to clear it out. Oof. GE freezes pensions. That's big. Volvo to Geely to merge engine units with electric car push. Yeah, everything's gonna start pushing for electric, and I hope we don't lose a lot of trees when we start cutting back on the carbon, right? So then we got Buddy in Cape Breton. And then we got Can't come on right now, Mike. No problem. The Raven's busy. No problem, buddy. No problem. Probably at work or probably like he's usually doing, taking care of business. So what else we got here? Let me see who we got here. Everyone's at work right now, man. Everybody seems to be at work. Everybody seems to be working right now. Well, it is 9 o'clock in the morning on a Monday morning. So let's see what's going on here with... Let's talk about Bloomberg now. Meet the banks behind the $5.5 trillion of trades that power ETFs. That's scary, man. China narrow scope for trade deal with U.S. ahead of talks. So they're kind of focusing, I guess. They're focused now on site on what they're going to talk about or what they're going to bring to the table that's going to benefit all countries or both countries or both economic superpowers. Pound traders are betting on a positive outcome from EU summit. I don't know about that. I've got Gunther 26 wants to come on our Skype. Here we go, Gunther. I am calling you right now, buddy. Hello.
Hey.
Oh, I can barely hear you. Hold on a sec. Go ahead.
All right.
Are you there?
Fine.
Gunther? Are you there?
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I could hear you perfectly, buddy. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great. Just want to say I came over from an educated economist.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that guy's amazing. I'm going to try to get him on the show real soon.
But I used to be employed. I was working at a glass factory, but I quit for personal reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm not really doing anything, but I started stacking some silver this year.
Yeah.
got up to 210 ounces so far. Want to hit 250. And I've bought a little gold recently. Got about 3/4 of an ounce.
Okay.
Not really worried about the job market in my area. I live in southern Wisconsin, and there's been a lot of tech companies moving to the state capital, and I live about 30 minutes from there.
Okay.
Been working on some CompTIA certificates, trying to move there. Don't really like the idea of moving to the big city, but I'm going to help my little brother out. He graduated college. He bought a brand new truck, didn't need it. He's in way over his head in debt. I've been paying his rent. So I'm going to split a place with him, and hopefully when he's out of water, out of the deep end, I can get out of the city and maybe get some land somewhere. It's still pretty cheap. You can find about maybe 20 to 30 acres for between 80 to 150,000.
Oh yeah, That's open roam land there. Everybody is going wagons east right now from the west coast. Everyone's going east now, and that's where they're finding prosperous again. It's wagons east again.
But I'm not really worried about negative rates. I have an HSA for my last job, a health savings account, and I'm kind of concerned about that because that has a good bit of money in it, and it has practically no interest. I think the rate on it's like 0.98%. Other than that, things are kind of good here. Where construction's kind of starting to curtail. We've had a bunch of small businesses pop up in my town. One closed recently in Ace Hardware. We had a furniture store come in, a couple new restaurants.
Tell people what state and city you're in. Just tuning in right now. We just got 8 more people just tune in.
I'm in Portage, Wisconsin.
Portage, Wisconsin. Okay. And the big city you're thinking of moving to?
Madison. It's the state capital.
Okay.
It can be kind of outrageous, especially downtown. Some of the houses are going for like $300,000-$400,000, and they rent it to the college students. They'll rent like a 1-bedroom out for like $1,000 or something.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It is. It's ridiculous because they should go for $400 to $600 for a 1-bedroom. And
then you look at the prices in the little town I'm in, and you could get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Maybe it has a garage attached, and you could get it for like 80 to 120,000. They're not in bad shape. It might be a little bit older, some from like the 70s, but maybe you could use a little painting. Other than that,
I don't know if you've missed that house that was for sale in Vancouver, that 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Built in 1910 for $5.5 million. So it's pretty bad where I am in Canada. It's so bad. You guys are lucky, and I keep bringing this up. You guys are so lucky because you have so many cities and so many towns and so many small villages you could easily move to if you had to and relocate. In Canada, we don't have that choice. We got 2 major cities, and all the towns surrounding those major cities are all out of reach for the Canadian proper. We're finished.
Oh yeah, my little brother, he had a friend. He moved out to Portland, Oregon.
Right.
And he just bought a house. It was some rinky-dink place. He was gutting the inside. He bought it for I think like $450,000. And he told him he was going to try and flip it. And I was like, well, I wish him luck because things are starting to to go south here pretty soon. So.
Yeah. The problem with that is the situation right now is that Portland's been tipping now for the last 8 months. Okay, since the foreign investing stopped in the West Coast, a lot of people that can't get into the markets are waiting. There's some people waiting for markets to correct, but the ones that don't want to wait are just moving east. And there's a lot of people from California, Oregon, and Washington State moving east to Utah, Nevada, and Arizona, and also moving to places like Texas for a better, more stable lifestyle.
Yeah, we get a lot of people from Chicago and Milwaukee.
Well, Well, Illinois is fried right now.
Yeah.
Illinois, I don't know who's going to cover or what taxpayers are like a taxpayer in Illinois right now is already losing 5-0. Like they're starting their baseball match already 5-0 loss in the first inning without even going up to bat once. That's how bad it is right now in Illinois with all the layers of government. I don't know what Illinois is going to do. I think they're going to end up having to default.
Yeah, they're in a tight spot over there. I don't envy them. I'm kind of glad I'm where I'm at. I'm from Mississippi originally, and Mississippi and Wisconsin are kind of about the same. The government's different, and the people, but the land prices are about similar.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yeah.
Although overall the jobs pay a little more up here than down there.
Yeah, but you could still find something good in Jackson, something decent to pay that pays non-government. I'm saying something in the private sector fields in Jackson, Mississippi, for good money.
I don't know if I'd want to live in Jackson, Mississippi, though. I know years ago at one time it had the 8th highest murder rate in the country.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although, like around Hattiesburg, Hattiesburg used to not be too bad, but you had a lot of people moving from New Orleans and Jackson going there.
Yeah.
Although upstate, closer to Tennessee, it's pretty good there. And the coast, you got the shipyards. Of course, that kind of comes and goes.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. So you're stacking silver and a bit of gold, and you're hedging, I guess. What are you hedging against? What do you think is going to happen in your opinion?
Well, not too sure. I'm trying to look at it from, I guess, from every vantage point possible. Whether poop does hit the fan, and the dollar tanks, and I have something of value that I could use for barter. I do have like food and water, so I'm not too concerned in that regard. But I think coming up here soon, some big things are happening. I don't want to say anything to get the stream knocked off, but
yeah, I know you want to be
big
careful.
Financial issues are going to be coming up, and whether the dollar collapses or not, gold and silver will shoot up, and maybe I made a good investment, and if things should happen to recover, I can sell a little bit out of my parents.
Are you noticing in your big city there a lot of more compressed building, more?
Yes, they're building apartments all over the place, even out from the capital, about like probably 15, 20 minutes. It's rural. It's closer to like small towns. I assume they build it out. They're building them out there for tax purposes.
Okay.
But, there are a lot of new modern apartments being built, even in the city, all over the place outside. Don't really see subdivisions. My parents,
and that's scary. I got someone in the comments saying that Buddy went by his old stomping ground and they're squeezing in condos everywhere.
That's one thing here too. Like my parents kind of live in like a upper middle class neighborhood, and you drive like 2 minutes down the street and there's a bunch of little condos and duplexes, couple of apartment complexes. Then you go across the road. There's a 4-way red light. You go across there, 3 more apartment complexes. They had about 4 people over the past year build a house, but you look throughout town and there's just nothing but apartments. Even nobody's really built any homes.
Let me ask this. This is kind of an important question. This is actually the most important question with overbuilding in these cities. Can the infrastructure handle the new, I guess, influx of people moving in? Are there the streets wide enough? Is there enough bridges? Is there enough ways to the highway? I mean, you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Oh, the traffic's bad in the city. They're gonna have to do a lot of work, and it's all intentional too. How they plan plan the road system.
Right.
In my town, the roads are just chewed up. I suppose all over Wisconsin it's like that. When we elected a new governor, everybody thought that he was going to start spending money to get the roads fixed. Well, it didn't happen quickly like everybody thought. Roads are always kind of chewed up from winter.
Right.
I couldn't say about any other infrastructure. I've never lived in the city. I don't think they have problems.
Okay. How is
power?
We got a question
Power
here.
though. They're building a new substation by my parents' neighborhood, I suppose, to take on more power from the main lines, and I think they're expanding the water and gas lines out into kind of empty lots that whoever owns the land, he's expanding all the infrastructure out that way.
Okay. We got a question here from Metal World is asking, how is the homeless situation in Wisconsin?
It's not too bad. Last time I went walking around Madison, you see a couple people here and there, but they do a real good job of keeping people off the streets, and not in like a negative way, but keeping them off the streets, cleaning. It's very clean. There were a couple people here and there panhandling. They had signs.
Yeah.
Doing tricks and things.
Card tricks and stuff?
Occasionally in my town, you'll see one or two homeless people just going through. I guess they're passing through. But other than that, it's not too bad.
Oh, it's a beautiful little city here. I'm checking it out right now, opening some images here. Madison, Wisconsin. Very beautiful, by the water. Well, I knew it was by water, but I just haven't seen it in years. Like, I haven't seen an image of it in years. I'm looking at here in the winter. You guys have pretty frigid winters by the water there, eh?
Yeah. It's quite a change from South Mississippi, although there is quite a similarity between the two in winter. When it rains, it'll be humid, and even if it's like in the 20s in Mississippi, it'll feel just as cold here when it's like -4 or 5 degrees.
Yeah. Okay. I get where you're coming from. Yeah, it's I call it the aggregate weather temperature. Like, it aggregates back against and eats up. Yeah, it's complicated. But yes. Wow, I like that state building in the middle there. That beautiful building there in the middle, that federal building, it looks like it's in the middle there.
Yeah, they're downtown, the capital area. It's real nice. You also have the University of Wisconsin. It's kind of in between two lakes. You got Lake Mendota and Lake Monona.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see it. I see the fork here. That fork that kind of divides it into a funnel, kind of funnel type. Goes into a funnel type breakdown here. Wow, I'm looking at it from 1952. From 1950, Wisconsin, circa 1950. Wow. Madison.
They did have problems with, I believe it was algae. Can't remember which lake, but they were telling people not to swim. Maybe it was a smaller one on the west side of the city. They were telling people not to swim in it because people were getting sick. And they do keep it pretty clean. Of course, they're kind of liberal there, so that's really their thing, whole environment.
Okay. And I'm not going to ask because I'm not allowed to, but are you going to vote in this next election?
I've been thinking about it long and hard. I didn't vote in the state elections we had in 2018. I didn't vote in 2016. In fact, it wasn't even till the end of 2016 that I really started paying attention to everything. I might. I'm not sure if I will or not yet. The way I see it, Trump. I don't want to be like too cynical about it or black-pilled, as they say, but I don't think he's serious. Maybe he does have good intentions, but you look at all the people he keeps adding into the cabinet. John Bolton, the new guy that replaced him, said to be Bolton Light. a bunch of deep state establishment people. You had Pompeo, you had Jeff Sessions in as Attorney General, and people were wondering why, the whole investigation into him went like it did. He has the authority to shut all these investigations down, fire all these bureaucrats, but he's just not doing it. And I do wish him the best, but I think it's all for show. I think his presidency is going to be like a combination of like Nixon with the scandals, Reagan, the kind of trickle down economics that we've had over the past couple years, and then finally he'll be impeached. I don't think that's one thing people realize, that go back and look in 2016 when he was elected, and there's like a handful of Republican senators that were even against him. They called them the Never Trumpers. So I'm sure they can grease a few more senators. They just got to come up with a big enough number for them, and they could get them out of there. And then they'll probably get Mike Pence to, send us all to Iran to have a little fun.
That's what I'm scared of, that, man. Every time everyone says Iran, it's like, no, nobody wants to go to war, especially with Iran. It's going to be a hot war with Iran. The reason why Iraq couldn't take Iran, or had a really tough time at war with Iran, is because Iran's a first world country, and a lot of people, for a long time don't know that. They don't know that Iran has infrastructure. Iran has highways to deploy its units. Iran has, allies, right?
Yeah, it certainly wouldn't be a fun one.
No, definitely not.
And another thing too with his presidency, when he went into North Korea, and it really made for good TV. All I heard from all these right wingers and Republicans were like, well, it's like Nixon opening up China. And the first thing I thought, well, there goes more jobs over to North Korea now, here in next decade.
Yeah, that's exactly what. Yeah, for sure. Scary.
They'll be like the new China.
Well, that's what's going to have to happen. Everyone's bailing on China right now because the government there is severely unstable, and their banking system is a house of cards, and so is their if you think America is pretty bad, China is like 50 times worse because they lie through their teeth 24/7, right? Politicians lie a lot, but I mean, we get the gist of it. We got social media. We could actually debunk people, blah blah blah. But in China, oh my God, with their social credit score system, they're just really, really, really putting, they're pulling all punches there when it comes to that. So the house of cards they're built off, I think you're going to start to see huge fractures. They've already bailed out a few of their banks already. Governments came in and saved 4 banks that were on the verge of default. It ain't looking good right now in China, especially with their, I don't know how many millions of empty units or houses they have there. It ain't looking good for China right now.
And when I started this year, I was listening to like Uneducated Economists, Money GPS, Silver Report Uncut, and I just started a savings account and saving a bunch of money. And once I started looking into everything, all the numbers, and I'm like, holy crap, it's it's all made up. And
oh yeah.
And I think about it too. I'm 28, and I remember the recession. I was going through high school at the time, and
yeah, you were.
When Obama he had fudged all the numbers and changed how GDP is calculated, unemployment's calculated.
That was a kick in the pants, because then it's now for us, like me and you. Let's say me and you want to sit down and audit. Let's say we want to audit something. Let's say on federal spending. We can't audit it anymore because we're not being told what we need to know. Yeah.
And then for Trump to come out and claim, what was our GDP, like 3.1% in January? And it's like, it's all made up.
Half but then why GDP it's made up because they're lowering interest rates.
Yep.
Right.
And what's funny with my savings account?
Go ahead. What's funny? Tell us.
When I opened it, they had just raised the rate from 2% to 2.1. And then before the Fed made their first interest rate cut, they went ahead and cut before them. They cut my rate by to, I think it was like 2.08%. And then when the Fed made their next cut, they cut it all the way to 1.9%. And I've actually been expecting them to keep cutting it as the Fed slowly turns their rate to zero.
Well, they don't have a choice in the matter right now. They just can't. They can't. They have to go down. There's no way up, right? So the only way to go upside is basically they got to end all these Mickey Mouse wars. They got to really take a 3 steps back, not a step, 3 steps back, and look at the bigger picture. Because the only way this could work is A, if they default on their debt, but they want to go with strategy B, and they want to pay it down with devalued currency.
And they told me about the first cut that was proactive. They didn't tell me about the next one. I didn't find out till actually towards the end of August when I opened it up.
Right.
To see what my account was at, and I was like, oh, they lowered the rate again. It's nice of them to notify me about it.
Oh, God forbid they notify you. God forbid. You know why they lowered your rates, and you know what they're doing is they want to keep tensions at ease with the investors that are investing in these banks. They got to make sure that they get their dividends and make sure that they're primed and proper, because then once investors start leaving and losing confidence in the banking institution and start putting their money in other avenues, like you did the right choice investing in silver and gold, because I think right now in this economy, the only safe haven right now, and there's nowhere to run, and when there's nowhere to hide, the only safe haven you have is gold and silver right now.
And I did have some crypto. I had about $3,000, and Litecoin and Bitcoin, I just kind of pulled it out. I was hoping to try and make a little bit of money. I actually lost a little bit this last time.
Oh my God, were you watching AMTV?
No.
Okay, good.
But I do use the Brave browser, so I get basic attention token.
Sure.
I've been just kind of letting that build up. I got about maybe $20. And I did have some stocks last year, like AMD, Intel. I just kind of slowly pulled out of everything, just kind of consolidated it all in silver and gold. I'm pulling the Warren Buffett thing. I'm just waiting for it to all deflate, then
Jump back.
buy up houses and house, car, whatever I need, land when it's all cheap.
Well, you're super young still. You have a lot of life ahead of you. So if you play your cards right, you're gonna be okay. But I'm gonna have to let you go because I gotta run a few errands. Today's my day off, and I would love to have you back on the show to give us a little bit of insight on what's happening in your neck of the woods.
All right.
Anytime you want to come on, anytime you want to maybe pull up a few articles and research them on your end, on maybe giving us your perspective, you're more than welcome to come on and share that with us.
All right. Well, thank you, sir, for having me on.
No, thank you. And sir is my dad. Thank you so much, and have a blessed day, and we'll talk soon, okay? Okay, bye. So, guys, that's Gunther 26 in the comment section that just called in from Wisconsin, living in a small town and looking to move to Madison, maybe to help bail his brother out that got in over his head, which is a good, noble thing. Family, blood is thicker than water, right? And yeah, Metal World saying, interesting guy. Of course, everybody's interesting. That's why everybody that comments in this comment section and contributes to the show needs to come on. You don't have to be on the same boat. You could call in and say, I like Elizabeth Warren because of this. Hey, I like to hopefully start a political party in my town. Or you call in from Australia saying they're cutting pensions. Or you call in from, it doesn't matter. Everybody has an angle, and every angle basically gives you the full perspective. Remember what I said? This is me. I'm a flashlight, okay? This show, we're in a dark warehouse, completely pitch black. But this one flashlight is pointing at whatever we could see, right? But then when I get this gentleman on the show, we get ourselves a second flashlight.
We need to unlock the phone.
Okay, shut up, Bixby. Anyways, we get a second flashlight. So now in the warehouse, we could see two beams of light. Then let's say somebody else comes in. We got a third flashlight. Before you know it, the entire warehouse will be fully lit, and we will be seeing every angle possible at the same time. It is I, Mike Martins. Thank you for supporting me on Patreon. Thank you for supporting me on every other angle. Don't forget to share this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Lots of love to you guys. Lots of strength and lots of courage. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.